Keith here from Amped Publishing, and today I'm going to review an application called Wishloop. Now, Wishloop is enterprise software, okay? And what I mean by that is it's one platform for basically all of your lead gen campaigns, okay? So you're going to see here, I'm on the dashboard, 4 different applications, okay? These are basically 4 different ways for you to manage your lead gen, okay? So it's different ways to capture leads, all right? Now, I've done a separate video for each of these applications so that you can see those. And if you look in the top right corner, there should be a little card there. You can click that and it will basically show the playlist that I've put all 4 of these videos in, so you can watch and see a nice thorough walkthrough of what each of these does, okay? But they all interact together, okay? All right? Now, for a limited time, what they're going to do is they're going to combine this for one low price, okay? And it's a one-time cost. Now, they usually, and actually I'll even flip over to the website here, to get access to this enterprise software, it will cost you really anywhere from $19 a month and on up, okay? So what it does is it kind of goes by visits here. So if I kind of jack this up here to 25,000 visits, it's basically $97 per month, okay? But what they're offering for this basic plan here is a one-time cost to get all 4 of these in a non-recurring. Now, they do have a pro version. That is, I believe it's a yearly charge that they have for that. And you also get a template club where they add new templates every month, okay, with that pro version. Now, the pro version includes things like a social scheduling system, a survey module, geolocation capabilities, and other kind of selling integrations like Teespring, Amazon, PayPal, Shopify, things like that. Okay, and again, plus the templates, the template club that you would get brand new templates every month. All right, so go ahead and I'm going to review this Engage here today. Okay, and what this is opt-in pop-ups. Okay, and many different ways to create those. So let's go ahead and just jump right into that. Now, there's a link down in the description that will take you over to the sales page that can show you a little bit more about each of these as well, and costs. But for now, I'm going to concentrate on this video with just the Engage application. Before we jump into that, I'm going to show you basically the installation and how you use this on really any domain you want to. Now, it comes with a WordPress plugin. If you do use WordPress, you can hook to that and it will kind of automatically pull in some of these pages for you, and I'll show you a little bit how that works. Or you can, if you're not using WordPress or some other CMS, you can simply just grab an embed code, which is right here, and just include it on any page that, really in any file that would be included on all your pages of your website, if you want these lead gen pop-ups to show up on every page. If not, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can embed this just on the pages that you want the pop-up on, or you can use what's called, I believe they call it, it's like targeting, where you can specifically choose which pages you want. You can do that right through this application, okay? So you can basically insert this code, have it installed, and have it show up on every single page of your website, but through the app, control which pages are actually allowed to, to show those pop-ups, okay? So let's get started. Let's go ahead and create a new Engage campaign. Now, what you're going to see is you're going to get, it looks like there's 129 designs available, okay, to start from, kind of separated in these different categories. Collect emails, social, promotion. There's some niche ones here, segments, club, and these are some of the club templates that you would get, okay? So these are those monthly templates I was talking about. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to choose just a generic one here just so that we can take a quick look about how this works. So I'm going to go ahead and just select that. And what it's going to do is going to load the builder, okay? So now what you can do, I'm going to close this here for now. So these are all pre-made, so you can edit this however you see fit. Now this particular opt-in has actually 2 steps to it, okay? You can actually have as many steps as you want. You can have it be a 3-step, a 4-step, or just a 1-step opt-in, okay? Now I'll show you once I kind of walk through what all the components are for. I'll show you exactly what I mean by that, okay? So it's pretty simple to use. There's a ton of different components here. Now, by clicking on any of these components, you can basically open up this area here and get all the different settings depending on which component you've chosen. So for text, they have headlines, lists, paragraphs, and icons. Media, you can have videos load in. For instance, all I need to do is just drag this on and go ahead and position it wherever I want to position it. And then just open up the settings, and you'll notice here you have your video URL. So you can go and just enter that in, and it will play your video. All right. And if we want to get rid of anything, we just simply hit the delete. Now we also have forms, obviously opt-in forms. You can build, there's built-in opt-in forms or there's custom opt-in forms that you can choose. Now you can integrate these with autoresponders as well, which is located in the integrations area. Now there's a bunch of social components that you can use. So like if you want this is the Google Plus, so you can have how many how many people have plussed you and so forth. Okay, and likes and shares, and you'll see them all right here. Okay, and here's a whole social media button row. So you can have that. You can position it where you'd like. And, of course, there's settings for all of those things all in here, okay? All right, now, let's see what else we have in here. We have buttons, okay? So there's just a generic button. There's a click to call, which I believe will actually call like through Skype or whatever service that you're using. I think Twilio might be another one of those. You can use to have people just click and automatically call you, okay, right from your pop-up. Now you can have click to send an email, the close image and close button, PayPal, and PayPal donate button. Now, one important thing that I do want to point out is, and it took me a minute to figure this out, is by default, this will not close. So if I just left this opt-in here and put it on my page, you would not actually be able to get out of it unless you went through it and actually submitted your information. Now, that's fine if you want to do that. I don't particularly suggest doing that. You always give the user a way out. So you just have to manually put in your close button, okay? So what all you need to do is just basically drag that here, and you can actually choose, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, there's other images you can use. You can upload from your own computer as well. You don't have to use any of these images, okay? And that will basically close the modal, okay, for you. So I'm going to leave that there so that we can test this. Now we also have, let's see, we went through buttons. We have other marketing. So there's an Amazon widget, which you can pull on. And let's see here. So you've got an Amazon widget here now. You can also look at some of the settings that you can do. So there's your Amazon Associate ID. So you can pull in basically, categories right here, or all your categories. So you can choose which categories you want, and they're actually going to kind of cycle through and show you different products all associated with your Amazon affiliate ID. All right, and you can go by keywords as well, and you can put animations on every single element that's available here. Okay, so a lot of these settings are pretty much the same as you get to them. Just depends. Like obviously the Amazon one's going to have its own settings and so forth. But as far as styling and animations and the way you can arrange them are all pretty standard across all of the elements. All right. So I'll just go ahead and remove that. We also have ebooks, computer screen you can drag on. There's a quiz, Shopify widget, Teespring countdown, and Teespring t-shirts. Okay, so you can actually hook this to Teespring URLs. All right, and it will pull in those images. You also have geolocation, so if you wanted to drop this down here, this would be basically city. Okay, so right now I'm going through city, and again, same type of styling and things that you can change. So you would basically kind of drag this in. If I were to say, hey, Keith, how's the weather in? And it will geolocate when it finds us, and it'll know that I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina. So it will say Raleigh. All right. So there's pretty much automation there to your geolocation, and you can choose from any of these four right here. Now, there's steps. Like I said, you can have different steps. As I click through, you're going to see that's step one, which is the initial step, and then there's the opt-in form, which is next. And I'll show you that live here in just a second. But you can also have those buttons where you can link to them. So this is basically what you're seeing here is a link to the step, right? So if I pick sooner, it's going to go ahead and bring me over to that second step. If I pick later, actually that might even react as a close button, but we'll test it here in just a second. Now, there's a bunch of miscellaneous elements you can use. Just straight up HTML code if you just have some code you want to paste in. Google Maps. You can actually have an external website load in it as well, and I'll actually show you that because that was kind of unique. So there might be something you want to load right now. It's just Wikipedia, but you can put whatever URL you want right here, and it will load that web page right into your opt-in. Okay. We also have countdown timers, a count from and to, different layers, rulers, and a tracking code. If you want to put any kind of maybe a Facebook pixel on there or whatever kind of tracking you're using, you can also put that on there. Now, Wishloop across all its apps does do some actual tracking, and I'll show you what that looks like as well, okay? So this would be anything beyond what Wishloop offers, okay? Now you can also load a template from here if you just wanted to start over and try something new. You can load those from right inside the builder as well. Obviously, you can change and the opt-ins from first to second. How you can reorder these however you see fit. Now we also have previews, okay? So right now I'm in edit mode. And what I'm going to do is you can actually switch this into, so this is what it's going to look like on a desktop. This is what it's going to look like on a tablet. Okay. And you can actually do some, it's a mobile builder, all right? So you can actually hide some of these elements as well if you wanted to, just for the tablet. So in other words, like if I want to have my headline on there, I could certainly put it on there, or I can hide it. Now that will only happen for this tablet view. Now if I go over to the mobile phone, you can also do the same, okay? So you can switch that on, switch it off, just depends, what you want. Sometimes we don't want this to be quite so large on a mobile phone. So you have complete control over that, and also reordering it, okay? So you can put them in whatever order that you want to. Okay, actually that's turned off, so it's not going to show. But anyway, there's that preview as well. Okay, so if we go back here, as you see, it was pretty easy to build, and you can fix, you can apply styles to the entire container as well, which is right here. So if I select this background here, you can see you can change it from any color you want. Images, you can have a video back there, and there's just tons of options you can use there. It's a really easy to use builder, and a great way to build really nice looking opt-in forms, okay, or excuse me, opt-in pop-ups. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this. Now, I already have this hooked to a particular domain, and I'm going to show you what that looks like when we get into the campaign. Okay, so this is basically the second step. First, I'm going to build it out, and my next step, I'm going to go ahead and set some parameters. Okay, so with this one, I'm just going to call it Demo 2. And now when you click status, that means it is active, okay? So whatever domain I choose and have hooked up, it's going to start showing up right away. So you don't have to enable it right away if you just want to do some tweaks over a few days before you actually send it live. Just make sure that the status is not checked. This is just a personal, your own description that just for your purposes, nobody else sees this, okay? Now, here's where the domain. So I could assign a domain. Now, this is going to give me whatever I have hooked up to this particular site. Now, what this is it'll basically drag wherever you've embedded that piece of code, or if you're using WordPress, if you have it enabled in your WordPress instance, it's going to pull those domains. So it's just basically going out and looking for whatever you have. So you would add this domain and say, okay, I have it at mydomain.com. I type in mydomain.com, I'd assign it, and it will go out and make sure that it finds that piece of code to make sure that everything is functioning properly. Now, I only have this set up in one site, so I'm just going to assign it to that. And then you can choose your platform. So this might be a mobile only. You might want to only display this on mobile phones, maybe only on desktop, or all. Okay, so I have all checked. Next, we're going to hit the next button here. Now, there's different ways to display these pop-ups. Here's after a certain number of seconds, it will just pop up. We can do an on-exit intent, and it gives you a warning that exit intent and page close events are not supported by mobile devices. Entrance and scroll are used instead. So, but it gives you that fallback. So if it is mobile, if you want to use exit intent on your website, but you want the fallback to be on mobile, you can choose from one of those as well and set its own particular delay there. Here's a delay for days. This particular delay works for days. A visitor that closed the pop-up or didn't take action, show the pop-up again in whatever amount of days. 0 means just always show it. Just keep showing it, no matter if they've seen it or not. All right, so here we have the on-page close. This is the, if they try to close out the page, here's your message you can send. Again, here's the fallback for that. You can also do it when you're scrolling. Okay, so it depends how far down on the page they get. If they're halfway, in this case, halfway down the page, it's going to then pop that pop-up. And you can also do on manual, okay? So what you can do is you can create these buttons, and it gives you different things you can use, large, full widths, change colors, do whatever you want to do here. And that will basically trigger the opt-in. So if you just want a button to trigger it rather than some sort of other event, you can just copy this piece of code and stick it wherever you want to. You want this button to show up on your website. And you can reuse these over on anything. So you can use this piece of code across whatever site you want, as long as that's the particular opt-in pop-up that you want to show, okay? So what I'm going to do is, I guess we'll just do it after a number of seconds, and I'll just keep it at 1 for now. All right, so we'll hit next here. Now, here's your choice where you can show it on all pages, okay? Now, you can also exclude some pages. So there's a couple ways you can go about this, all right? Now, if you'll notice down here, it's talking about more information about setting up page targeting, okay? So you can take a look exactly how to do all these triggers, but for a quick example, let's just say there's really only, I have 100 pages on my site, and there's only 2 that I really don't want it to show up on. I could just exclude those here, and just by simply adding them here and giving them the path, and then it just won't show up on those particular pages, all right? And here is who should see these pop-ups. Now, this is the upgrade. Okay, so this is the Pro version, and I don't have that enabled right here. So you'll need to purchase that if you want to have this happen. And what this is it allows targeting for who should see this. Okay, so you could basically target somebody that says, okay, this person visited my site 4 days ago. Hit the pop-up and closed it, but did not do anything. Okay, let's wait 4 days for the same user. If he comes back 4 days later or beyond, go ahead and show to that particular user again. So you're really targeting specific visitors with these types of settings. Now again, it's a Pro version feature. Okay, so you'll need to upgrade to do that. And there's a bunch of different areas here and things that you can set. You can get pretty technical and pretty specific as to how you want your pop-ups to show to returning visitors. All right, and there's actually a whole tutorial around how to do it. Okay. By the way, Wishloop has a fantastic training set. I mean, there's tons and tons of tutorial videos on how to do all of this stuff, okay? So what I'm going to do is just save that out. All right, so now you'll notice I'm good to go. Everything's campaigns is updated. So what I'm going to do is go to, and actually I think I have this. Yeah, I do. I have just a generic page here on one of my sites. Okay, I'm just going to refresh. All right, okay, so there it is. I waited 1 second, and now it has appeared. I have my close button here. So it's asking me the question, do I want to increase my conversion rates? Yeah, sure, sooner. Okay, so there's step 2. Now I'm going to enter my name, my email, and subscribe. Okay, so you get the point. You've all seen opt-ins before. This is just a really cool way to make multiple step opt-ins, really nice looking opt-ins as well as have a ton of different features to create these. Okay, now you do have to be aware that if you'll notice, you saw that one pop up right there. So why it did that is because I actually have 2 running, okay? Like I said, that status, whatever you have running, it's going to show, okay, depending on the site that you have. This one was on exit intent, so you saw it pop up. So I would want to make sure that I definitely disabled this campaign. You don't want all these pop-ups coming up, okay? And it's also a really nice way to trigger, if you just want to switch off every once in a while, right? And you can reuse them. It's very simple. Once you've created one, you can reuse that across many, many different sites. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to view this particular one right here. Now this page, and there's statistics for just about every type of opt-in on all 4 of these pieces of software that have this view. Okay, so it's going to show you impressions, conversions, a conversion rate, a nice graph there as well. And what you're also going to see here is variation. So basically this is split testing. All right, so I can add a new variation if I want to, pick whichever one I want. It could be a completely different one. It could be the same one where I just tweak the text. It can really be whatever it is that you want it to be. Okay. So you don't have to. You can change. You can have as many of these as you'd like. Save those out and see which one is converting the best, and then obviously you would want to then go ahead and use that one. Moving forward. Okay, so that is basically engaged. Now, as I said, there should be a card at the top right corner that you can click on to take you to the playlist to see the walkthroughs of all the other 3 pieces of software in Wishloop. Now, again, it's an enterprise software, okay, and it's an incredible package. I mean, it's pretty much all of your lead gen, everything you're going to need, 4 totally unique ways to capture leads, and all funneling in to one dashboard, one application, one enterprise application that you can manage it all from. So I'm going to drop the sales page link down in the description. So go ahead and click that and definitely pick up your copy. This is the way to go. You don't need to bounce back and forth into 10 different admin areas and different applications. Get it all consolidated into one. It has everything you're going to need for all your lead gen purposes. Thanks for joining me.